back to Eat Tree 3D. This is my dad,
Mike.
And I'm Sierra. And today we're going to talk about the basics.
You're a brand new beginner and you want to see me unboxing this thing? Sorry, I threw the box away last month. But there's many videos out there on YouTube about unboxing this thing and then giving you a review about it. This video is going to be a little bit different. The inspiration for this video came from the YouTube comments that was left down below from the previous video. MrGrovesde, we're going to talk to you about how to change your filament through the two different types of leveling. The fast, which is they recommend it, which is what you need to do when you very first start. Then after that, we're going to show you how to do the normal leveling, which is going to hit 3 different spots, which is right above all the leveling nuts. And from that point, once you finish those, it's going to come back to the middle and do the fast leveling again, where you can raise and lower your bed. All right. Instructions are right here on this paper. Pretty easy to read. However, the one thing that I want to point out is when you do the fast leveling, don't touch the leveling nuts. Hear me? Don't touch leveling nuts until you move to the normal. Okay? At that point, then you can do that. And then I'm going to walk you a little bit through the touch screen, how that works and what different things do. That way you know what's going on here. So you're going to need a couple tools for this. So you're going to need some filament. You're going to need your paper for leveling. And once you open your filaments, you're going to get the silica gel. Okay, it says do not eat, throw away. Do not throw this away. Throw this in whatever container you're using to store your filament. PETG, your ABS, or any of your other ones that absorb moisture. Put this in there. Keep it away from kids. But no. Make sure it's locked up. This will help you a little bit. Alright, so we'll walk through some of the functions here on the Quiddy X Max. Once you first buy it, here's your after sales service. Once you click this, it talks about what you need to do and how you can send them the STLs if you're having issues, and then they'll send it back with how to fix that. So we'll jump into the system piece here real quick. Alright, so once you hit the system, it's going to show you your millimeters for your X, Y, and your Z axis, which right here, obviously, the Z axis is at 300 right now. And as I move this, it'll register where it's at and talk about and show you, demonstrate here where it's located. And then your current temps on your hot end and your bed. Alright, so now that we've talked about the info, then we can go to the about, and that tells you about what you've got, what kind of system. Language, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, and your touchpad adjustment, that's what that TP adjustment is. Touchpad, so you can come over here, touch wherever your squares are at, or your crosses are, and then okay, calibrate it. Yep. Then press any point to test. So wherever you touch, that's where you should see your dot at. All right. So then you can confirm your calibration there is pretty good. All right, factory, you hit that, it's going to do a factory reset on all the settings on here. Sound, pretty self-explanatory. Hit it once, it's going to go to X to mute it, then quiet, semi-loud, and annoyingly loud. And then the LED light, it'll shut off whenever you've got it going on. And you can also do this during mid-print. So that's a pretty good walkthrough right there of the system. So now when we go to the tools, this is where all the good stuff is. All right, so your internet, right? So you can pick your internet, and then you click this top one right here, and it will show you a list of different Wi-Fi that's available, which mine isn't. And it'll give your IP and all that stuff. Alright, so now that we got the internet, then we got some fans. We can turn our fans on and off, and they start off all at 0, but once you hit them, you can actually hear the fans starting to kind of turn on and start running up. This one nozzle real quiet. Okay, sorry, my adjustments might be a little off now after just messing with it. So the model, you can hear that going, and then once you hear air circulation, and you can get them all on. So you can do that. And then also, so you've got your leveling, which I'll show you here in a minute, and then the filament, we'll show you how to do that. Manual, you've seen us in our other video where we can raise and lower our beds however we need to, move whatever axis we need, and we can adjust it by 0.1, 1 to 10 millimeter. It's simple. You press it and bed will rise up, and then put it back down. Now it's back to home. All right, and then preheating. So if you're trying to do any ABS printing or any of the hotter materials, your carbon fibers or anything along those lines, you could preheat everything so it will work when you're ready to print. It'll be ready. Or you can just wait for it to heat up by itself, depending on how long. Sometimes it takes up to 10-15 minutes to heat up, so preheating can be a good thing. All right, so now we'll get into how we're going to change the filament. And so basically all you need to do here is hit the filament button, and then the square's white. Hit it, and you notice the colors will turn red. So now it's telling you it's in the process of heating up. And so once that heats up, we will change out our filament. All right, so there's two different methods here to change the filament out. All right, so once it heats up to 220 degrees, you can hit the down arrow just to the right side of those temperatures. As you see the filament starting to fall out of it here, then you can go on and you can keep letting it fill up. You can cut the wire, cut the filament, and let it go through. And what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to put another piece of filament right behind it and trace it down. Follow it all the way down, and it will eventually feed into it. And you'll see I'll take my hands off as soon as it gets to that point. Alright, so there we go. So that's one way to change your filaments out. The next way is press that down arrow. As it starts feeding into there, you want to hit that stop arrow and then hit that up arrow instantly and pull it up. Now you can push down on the side over here, this little lever that you see right here on the side. You can push that down and pull it up, which is just fine. If you don't, you're going to see a couple little scratch marks, cut marks on it right there. No big deal. Either way, you can do it either way. I've heard people decide that they prefer doing it the first way. That way they don't have to worry about, potentially breaking any of the gears inside there that help feed the filament. So, however you decide to do it, then loading your filament. So first thing you want to do is when you get these, you'll notice that the end of them are normally bent up because of the way they're packaged. So you want to just cut you a little piece off of it to where it's straight. And then what I like to do is push down on this and put it in there. If you don't push to do that, you could hear some, we'll see if we can get some sounds. I don't know if you can hear that, but you can see my hand vibrating here. It's not feeding it properly like it should. So you can push down on this, push it in there, and put it in there, and you can see it's starting to drag down. And then what you want to do is make sure that you see that color change come through on the bottom side here. And once you see that color change, which it takes a second, alright, so you'll see the filament come through, and you'll notice the change in color from one color to the next color. Once you see that new color in there, go on and hit the stop button. And that's it right there. That's how you change your filament out on this. Now, me being the smart one, I didn't route it properly. So what we'll do is we'll hit get that down. We'll hit the stop, bring it back up, and we'll pull out the filament real quick. We'll feed this through. Hit that down button again. Hit the down button again. I gotta readjust my my touchscreen settings. Alright, so this one right here you can see is starting to mess up a little bit. Cut the tip of it off. Down, stop, down. Alright, so there we go. You can see it slowly dragging my fingers down. I'm not applying any downward pressure there, just making sure that I can feel it when it comes down. Alright, once the filament starts coming out the bottom, we'll just hit the stop button, and then we're good to go. Now, obviously, I've upgraded my filament roller here, which you should have seen, hopefully you've seen in the last video, or in the very first video that we put out. So hopefully you can see that. Orientation of your filament roll. Some people like to do it this way. However, I notice whenever it gets closer to back, once it comes forward and then goes to the back again, you'll see it kind of spring up and everything like that. So me personally, I like to put it upside down right here, and you'll still get a little spring back, but not as much as if it was straight up. And some people don't even use this piece, but that's up to you. So that's how you change your filament on here, and then we will get out of here and head to the leveling section. So for leveling, you press leveling and you got two different options here. You got the fast leveling, which is right out of the box, recommend it, make sure it works all right. And then you can get into the normal leveling, and that's going to be your fine tuning to make sure that your bed is as level as you can get it using this means. Now obviously there's other ways to do it. I'm just going to go through the basic means because I'm not that skilled to talk about the other stuff because I don't have the other stuff. Alright, so once we hit the bed leveling, like I said, it's going to give you two different options. We're going to take the recommend fast leveling, and we're going to let everything home first, and then it will come back and okay, so once it rehomes, it'll bring itself up, and from there we will start the process of the fast leveling. Once the bed gets level, it'll give you this screen right here, and from there it kind of walks you through what you need to do, and you get the option to lower or raise your bed 0.05 millimeters at a time. What you don't want to do on this very first step, do not touch the bed leveling nuts underneath it. So you want to slide the paper that they provide with you, and you want to try to slide it under the bed. Alright, so as you can see, it'll go under it, but it's really hard to get under there. So what we want to do is drop the bed down 0.05. Okay, we're still not there. Alright, so now we've got a little bit of friction here. I can feel it, wish you could feel it, but it's there, trust me. So a little bit too much for my liking, so we'll bring it out a little bit more, get some more friction right there. So we got a little bit less friction than the last time. That's about what I like, but I'll drop it down one more just to see what that does. Alright, so that's what I like right there, just barely feeling the friction. Once you feel just a little bit of friction, that's where it needs to be right there, and you can see it'll hit the card and the card will turn, it'll stick under there a little bit. So that right there, for me, that's what I prefer. So what I'll do is I'll hit the confirm button, adjustments complete, confirm it again. Alright, so since everything's right here, we'll hit the leveling again. Now we're going to go to the normal leveling. Hit the start button on it, and now everything's going to rehome again and bring the bed back up. Alright, so once you go with the manual route, this screen right here will pop up, and it'll tell you how to which way to rotate your leveling nuts. It'll tell you which way to rotate your leveling nuts, and instead of counterclockwise, it'll say anti-clockwise. So we'll go through this process. I'm going to do the same steps that you've seen in the last one on the top side of the bed, where I can move the paper around to find out where we're at. So this one right here, this is real nice right there. That's the amount of friction I like right there. So then we'll hit the play button, go button, start button, and you'll see it'll start to move over. Now on my nozzle, it looks like I might have a little bit of filament on there, which if so, it's going to throw the leveling off completely. But that's something I'll deal with later, and we'll do this multiple times. Alright, so that right here, we got some good leveling on this one right here. That feels pretty good, so we'll hit the play button again. Now we'll move to the back here. Alright, as the bed comes up, we can, alright, now we can see that we got some issues back here with the bed. It's a little bit too tight for my liking, so we'll just grab the leveling nut back here and we'll rotate it until we get to where we like it. Alright, so that's a little too much down. Alright, now we'll bring it up slowly. Alright, I like that right there. So now we're going to hit the play button. And now, if you look at the screen again, it takes us right back to that fast leveling. So we're back at the very first place we started in this leveling process. And we'll slide this up in here. Alright, I like that. So then we'll hit the confirm button, and then it'll say adjustment complete, and then confirm again. So now we hit confirmed. Sometimes the bed will go down like you want to, or when you hit the manual button that we talked about earlier, if you hit that home button right in the middle, click that home button and it will send everything back home to where it's at. And that right there is your two different types of leveling and how to adjust your filament. Now I'm going to show you how to put, if you want to put your filament inside, if you're printing ABS or carbon fiber or something along those lines. Now I'll show you how we do that. Alright, so I'm going to try to get you a couple different angles on this one, but here's how we're going to load our ABS in here. Alright, so you want to make sure that the spool is that the way it's wound is coming out the left side over here, because you're going to slide this right back here. And if you didn't see at the beginning, right here's the little hole, and that little hole right there is where we are going to screw this attachment that came with your printer. So we will get this over here. We will attempt to line this up. Alright, so once we do that, this secures it in place, and then once you take your filament, you're going to want to route it. It's going to be right here in front of the fans, and you got these cables right here that, you know, could possibly, you know, pinch it off right here, but you're going to run it up to this tube up here, and then right over your X-axis bars up here, your bars up here, and then into the filament. Me personally, I'm not going to route it all the way this way. I'm going to bring it straight up right over these bars, and there's another bar in the back. I'll route that filament right up over this bar right here and bring it out front. Now there's the potential of it getting pinched right here, because when this when your extruder comes all the way back to, you know, the home area right there, it could possibly pinch it. So little design issues possibly that might get in the way, but you know, there's other ways you could try to route it. Just find what's best for you. That's if you want to use your ABS on the inside. I personally don't, but you can see that with this in there, your bed, the bed will come up without affecting that filament right there. So now I know it looks close, like it's going to hit it and everything, but there is clearance there. Just unscrew it and then bring it right back out, and then rehome everything. So the first thing that we showed you was how to walk through the touchscreen operations. A couple things on there that you could see, and what they're used for, and how to get things to work that way. Then we showed you how to change the filament, and obviously I had the camera there and was worried about the camera angles and was just wanting to show you how to do it, and forgot to hit the stop button as it was going up so it wouldn't feed. Didn't feed it through the filament guide. However, you learn what not to do by us showing you what not to do. So as long as you follow that video, and every time I say, oh, my bad, I did this, leave those parts out. But other than that, I think that's a pretty good overview. So if you've got any questions, or hey, you're doing this wrong again, or why'd you do this? Like I said, people have different ways of doing it. You choose what's going to work best for you. But don't forget to subscribe, like, share it. And then I also forgot to tell you that there's a little bell. So I'm not sure where the bell's at on the screen. It's actually not on the screen. It's below the screen or somewhere. But
beside the subscribe button.
Besides the script.
Scribble.
Yeah. So next to the subscribe button is a little bell. So if you click that thing, every time we get a new video posted up there, it's going to send you either an email. Yeah, it's an email. It's not a text message. We don't have your number. But it'll send you an email telling you, hey, new video up. So make sure you hit that button too, so that way you can be notified as soon as we put a new video out.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for more videos. We got a couple more upgrades, some designing. Been getting some great ideas, some great feedback from the comments section that we're going to start getting some more videos on. So we'll see ya later.